بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. My fellow Muslims, Alhamdulillah, tonight we begin the 24th juz of the Quran, and the countdown of the final 7 juz of the Quran begins from tonight. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed us all immensely with this month. You know, sometimes I think, what would we do without Ramadan? Ramadan is the excuse to push oneself to do the things that we wouldn't be accustomed to doing outside of it. And hopefully we value it enough that we will consider doing it also outside of it. It's a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we can never thank Him for His blessings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to value these blessings. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Tonight, inshallah, Surah Zumar, Surah Al-Mu'min, and Surah Hamim Sajda will be recited. The theme surrounding the Day of Judgment, the end of times, Jannah and Jahannam, it will become a normal theme that we will begin to hear repeatedly. Stories of Prophet Musa alayhi salam will continue, as they do in 28 of the 30 ajza of the Quran. Before we get to those stories and reminders, the 24th juz begins with the verse Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, فَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ كَذَبَ عَلَى اللَّهِ وَكَذَّبَ بِالصِّدْقِ إِذْ جَاءَهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking, who could be a greater transgressor than the one who makes lies up with Allah? وَكَذَّبَ بِالصِّدْقِ, and they reject the truth when it comes to them. What does it mean, forming lies against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It could be something that a person verbalizes, something a person perceives. It could also be a person's demeanor. It's imperative that we as Muslims take some time to reflect on, who is Allah to me? Because that has been described to us throughout the Holy Quran. And we find a hadith that also describes who Allah is to us. But until I don't comprehend that and I accept that, then I won't be able to answer, who am I to Allah? Because that ball is in our court. We have to learn with time, my passing Muslims, that every day that passes, we are one step closer to our death. We are one day closer to our grave. We are all, irrespective if the world believes it or not, realizes it or not, we all will be standing before Allah soon. Who is Allah to me? How do I understand my Allah to be with me? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using the ism tafdeel, Azlam. There's no one greater of a transgressor than the person who rejects Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and who formulates lies against Allah and rejects the truth when it comes to them. And for those people, there's only hellfire. Let us learn before reality comes to us, my fellow Muslims. In Surah Zumar, verse 36, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then asks us a question. أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِكَافٍ عَبْدًا? If we are able to realize who Allah is to us, we will realize that Allah is sufficient for us. And that's what Allah is asking. أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِكَافٍ عَبْدًا? Isn't Allah sufficient for His servant? Are we not realizing the fact that Allah alone is enough? is plenty, is more than we could ask for, more than we need. We do not need then to keep looking left and right, up and down for other options, because this is the most greatest connection we could have. In the absence of the realization that Allah is sufficient for us, we find human beings seeking answers to where is comfort, where is life, where is purpose. It's already given to you. You're born with it. كل مولود يولد على الفطرة. Every human being that's born is born in the state of fitrah, understanding that Allah is their Lord, understanding that they have a connection with Allah, and understanding that that connection only needs to be solidified with time, not added with other options through the course of time. My Allah and your Allah is sufficient for all of us. When we realize that Allah will carry our grief and pain, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep us humble when we feel big and successful, when we understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hear us when we call Him, and He'll respond to Him before we can articulate those needs with words from our tongue, we will realize who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. And at that time, we will be able to practice on the hadith, وَإِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ. You're going to ask someone, you're asking Allah. وَإِذَا اسْتَعَنْتَ فَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. You're seeking help from someone, you're seeking help only from Allah. Allah is sufficient for us all, my fellow Muslims. But the fact that we tend to forget that over and over again, Allah reminds us with the examples that depict how distant we become from Allah in a short course of time. وَإِذَا مَسَّ الْإِنسَانَ ضُرٌّ دَعَانَا. Something wrong is happening, unfavorable conditions or circumstances are plaguing you. What do? Oh Allah. Oh Allah, help me. Oh Allah, help us. Oh Allah, save us. Oh Allah, pardon us. Oh Allah, free us. Then what happens when Allah does exactly what you ask for? Because He knew of your asking before the need that arose that made you ask Allah. Allah knew before all this. What do we end up doing? إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُهُ عَلَى عِلْمٍ. The success, the solution, the removal of these problems, I formulated it. I figured it out. It was my idea. It was my planning. We continue through either our words or demeanor to push Allah, but Allah doesn't go anywhere. With human beings, you can only push them away so much until they get fed up with you. With Allah, He will never get fed up. He describes to us how we treat Him. Yet He doesn't change who He is with us. We need to change how we understand our Allah. The premise of all the verses tonight is أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِكَافٍ عَبْدًا. Isn't Allah sufficient? In Surah Mu'min, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in verse 16 poses the question, a question that will be asked when death will come on all creations. This world will end. The mountains will fly like cotton. The skies will rip open. The earth will become, you can't walk on this earth. The Quran describes what's going to happen to this world. And as we recited yesterday in Surah Yasin, it's going to be one shot and everyone is dead. One shot and everyone's back up. It's not going to take Allah time. In between the two of those, Allah will ask, when there's nothing and no one to answer, Limanil mulkul yawm. Whose kingdomship is it today? Who out there can say that they are someone or is somebody or that their kingdomship or their power or their dictatorship is there holding the world together. Limanil mulkul yawm. Allah will ask 3 times, whose kingdomship is it today? No one will answer. Allah will then answer his question, Lillahil wahidil qahhar. The kingdomship belongs to Allah. Not today. Always has been. And it always will be. It is that Allah we are seeking. This is our Allah. He is our Allah. We are here every night seeking Allah. If we understand Allah's authority and power and kingdom and might today, what life will we be living? We will leave the slavery of this world into the slavery of Allah. We will leave the slavery of this world which has no honor into the honorable slavery and service of Allah. قال فرعون ذروني أقتل موسى وليدع ربه. Quran describes in Surah Mu'min the story when Fir'aun said, leave me, I'm going to go kill Musa. ذروني, leave me alone. Move aside, guys. I'm going to go kill Musa. وَلْيَدْعُ رَبَّهُ. I don't care if he calls on his Lord. When tyrants of this nature challenge you, they're challenging you not, they're challenging your Allah. And when they challenge Allah, everyone loses save Allah. قال موسى إني عذت بربي وربكم من كل متكبر لا يؤمن بيوم الحساب. Musa alayhi salam's response was, yet what? Oh my, the Pharaoh is coming. I'm going to get killed. What am I going to do? Someone call 911. What did he say? إني عذت بربي وربكم. I seek refuge in my Lord and your Lord, O Fir'aun, from every tyrant, arrogant, who doesn't believe in the day of judgment. And if I were you, Pharaoh, you better do the same. Seek the protection of your Lord. Islam is when you come on Allah's side. And when the world tries to touch you, they're trying to mess with Allah. We know who wins at that time. If we fail to realize this, if we fail to understand this, my fellow Muslims, there's no turning back the clock to fix this. The Quran in Surah Mu'min again depicts a scene when the people of hell, who thought this world was just a ride, who thought they could do whatever they wanted, and now they're in the scorching heat of hell, where every time the skin burns instantaneously, it is restored for it to burn again and again and again for eternity. وَقَالَ الَّذِي فِي النَّارِ لِخَزَنَةِ جَهَنَّمَ. They will turn to the gatekeepers of Jahannam. أُدْعُوا رَبَّكُمْ. Can you gatekeepers call on Allah? يُخَفِّفْ عَنَّا يَوْمًا مِنَ الْعَذَابِ. It's getting cold in here. What do we say? Turn down the AC. The fans are on, it's cold. Turn off the fans. They will ask the gatekeepers of hell, can you ask your Lord to turn off the heat for one day? يَوْمًا مِنَ الْعَذَابِ. One day. There's no days tomorrow. There's no weeks tomorrow. There's no 9 to 7, 9 to 5, 24 hours. There's none of that tomorrow. Time and space is irrelevant tomorrow. Allah's describing this why? So that we make the right choices and don't end up where we're not supposed to be going. And in conclusion, my fellow Muslims, we turn to Hamim Sajda, where this verse, with this will end. حتى إذا ما جاءوها شهد عليهم سمعهم وأبصارهم وجلودهم بما كانوا يعملون. At the end of the day, each one of us, myself first and foremost, for myself, I know where I stand before Allah. I'm confident we all know where we stand before Allah. Our good deeds and our sins. Allah's reminding us in verse number 20 of Hamim Sajda, you're not going to outsmart Allah tomorrow. When we stand before Allah on that day, this tongue ain't talking. This brain ain't working. Shahida alayhim. Their ears, their eyes, and their skin will speak against them tomorrow. Qala li juludihim. They will say to their skin and body, Lima shahidtum alayna. Why did you testify against me? I did this for you. We went to these senseless pleasures night and night again for you. You wanted it and I gave it to you. No, you didn't give it to me. You gave it to yourself. Antaqana Allah. Today Allah's made us speak, the one who makes everything speak. My fellow Muslims, it's time we realize our actions can either work in our favor or against us tomorrow. Let us turn to Allah in tawbah. Let us say astaghfirullah. Let us ask Allah that He removes from us the inclination towards sins, the bad habits that accumulate slowly but surely, so that we can do with this body what needs to be done. That tomorrow when we stand before Allah, it will tell Allah, our ears will tell Allah, our skin will tell Allah, our eyes will tell Allah, oh Allah, this servant of yours used your trust in a way that was serving your pleasure, seeking your pleasure. Oh Allah, grant this servant of yours Jannah. May Allah make us of those fortunate souls and protect us from being deprived by these senseless desires and pleasures and sins that will only bring misery in this life and the akhirah. May Allah forgive us, may Allah purify us, may Allah make us better in His eyes, and may Allah make us of the people of Jannatul Firdaus al-A'la. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. Salatul Isha.